Long before it became a candy bar, chocolate was currency. Long before it became dessert, it was a sacred ritual. The Maya called it the food of the gods. It is said that the Aztec Emperor Montezuma drank 50 cups of it every single day. European royal courts once guarded its recipe like a state secret. This is the story of chocolate, how a bitter, sacred drink from the rainforests of Central America crossed oceans, fueled empires, financed exploitation, and eventually became one of the world's most beloved foods. Our story begins more than 3,000 years ago in the dense rainforests of present-day Mexico and Central America, where the Olmec civilization was among the first to discover something extraordinary inside the pods of the cacao tree. Inside each pod were bitter seeds, what we now call cacao beans. Roasted, ground, and mixed with water, they produced a dark, frothy, intensely bitter drink unlike anything else in the ancient world. The Maya elevated this drink to sacred status. Cacao appeared in their religious texts as a gift from the gods and played a central role in weddings, religious ceremonies, and funerals. Nobles flavored it with chili peppers, vanilla, and flowers, not with sugar. It was never sweet, always bold. By the height of the Aztec Empire, cacao had become so valuable that it served as currency. A handful of beans could buy a turkey, a rabbit, or a day's labor. According to tradition, Emperor Montezuma drank chocolate from golden cups, discarding each one after a single use, a drink so precious that it was reserved for emperors, warriors, and priests. For both the Maya and the Aztecs, chocolate was never just a luxury. It represented power, status, and the sacred, all contained within a single bitter cup. In 1519, the Spanish conquistador Hern Cortes arrived in the Aztec capital of Tenochtitlan and witnessed something Europe had never seen before: emperors and nobles drinking a mysterious dark beverage with great reverence. Early Spanish accounts described the drink as too bitter for European tastes, but its rarity and the wealth it promised was impossible to ignore. After the brutal conquest of the Aztec Empire, Spanish colonists began shipping cacao beans back to Spain. There, someone history never recorded exactly who had a simple but revolutionary idea: add sugar, cinnamon, and vanilla to soften the bitterness. For nearly a century, Spain guarded the secret of chocolate with extraordinary care. It became the exclusive drink of the Spanish elite, served hot in royal courts, monasteries, and noble households, while the rest of Europe knew it only through rumor. But no secret lasts forever. By the early 17th century, chocolate had reached France through royal marriages and diplomatic gifts, quickly becoming the fashionable drink of the French aristocracy. From France, it spread to Italy, the Netherlands, and eventually England. Every royal court added its own blend of sugar, spices, and traditions. In London, a new institution appeared: the chocolate house. Like the coffee houses of the era, these exclusive establishments became gathering places where the wealthy drank chocolate, discussed politics, and conducted business, a reflection of the drink's own prestige. For more than 2 centuries, chocolate remained almost entirely a beverage thick, often spiced, and enjoyed mainly by those who could afford both sugar and leisure. The chocolate bar, as we know it today, did not yet exist. That transformation required the Industrial Revolution. In 1828, Dutch chemist Coenraad van Houten patented a press that separated cacao beans into cocoa powder and cocoa butter, making chocolate cheaper, smoother, and far easier to produce on a large scale. Building on this breakthrough, British chocolatier Joseph Fry discovered in 1847 that mixing cocoa powder with sugar and melted cocoa butter created a moldable paste. The world's first true chocolate bar was born. Switzerland soon contributed 2 more revolutionary innovations. In 1875, Daniel Peter combined chocolate with condensed milk developed by his neighbor Henri Nestel, creating the first milk chocolate. A few years later, Rodolfo Lindt invented the conching process, slowly grinding chocolate for hours until it became incredibly smooth, producing the luxurious texture we still associate with fine chocolate today. Within a single generation, chocolate had transformed from a royal beverage into something an ordinary person could hold in their hand. As demand exploded across Europe and America, cacao production shifted to colonial plantations in West Africa, especially in present-day Ghana and Côte d'Ivoire, which remain the world's largest cacao producers today. But this expansion came at a devastating human cost. In the early 20th century, investigative journalists revealed that cacao purchased by major British chocolate companies, including Cadbury, was being produced through forced labor on Portuguese colonial plantations, a scandal that exposed how deeply chocolate sweetness was tied to exploitation. Sadly, labor abuse in cacao farming did not end with colonialism. Even today, human rights organizations continue to document child labor and widespread poverty among cacao-growing communities in West Africa, a shadow that still hangs over the modern chocolate industry. It is a bitter truth. Behind the sweetness on store shelves lies a history that, in many ways, continues to this day. In the United States, Milton Hershey built an empire on affordability. Opening his Pennsylvania factory in 1905, he made milk chocolate accessible to the American working class for the very first time. During the Second World War, chocolate became even more widespread when it was included in military ration kits to boost soldiers' energy and morale, introducing an entire generation of American and European troops to chocolate as a source of comfort far from home. By the middle of the 20th century, chocolate had become an everyday part of life around the world, wrapped, branded, mass-produced, and sold by the millions, far removed from the sacred bitter drink once served in the courts of the Aztec Empire. Today, chocolate is a global industry worth well over $100 billion, enjoyed in nearly every country on Earth. In recent decades, a growing movement has emerged alongside the industrial giants. Small bean-to-bar makers and fair trade cooperatives are working to reconnect chocolate with its origins, pay farmers more fairly, and revive the very regions where chocolate's story first began. Meanwhile, scientists are now studying what ancient civilizations seemed to understand instinctively. Cacao contains mood-enhancing compounds, powerful antioxidants, and offers the simple, undeniable comfort of something rich, smooth, and sweet melting on the tongue. From a bitter ceremonial drink reserved for Aztec emperors to a closely guarded Spanish secret, to a foil-wrapped bar on the shelf of your local store, chocolate has carried with it 5 centuries of human ambition, exploitation, innovation, and pleasure. And every time someone unwraps a chocolate bar today, they unknowingly continue a story that began more than 3,000 years ago in a rainforest.